This weekend past, me and a group of friends participated in the 2016 Global Game Jam. The Global Game Jam is a competition where groups of developers, whether they're professional or student or just simply want to try it, get together and have 48 hours to put together a video game. What type of game they want to make is up to the developer. How big they want to make it is also up to the developer. How big their team is on the choice of the developers. The only thing that the Global Game Jam actually dictates has to be done is that they have to follow the theme. Now, the theme is something that you have to incorporate into the game one way or another.
Global Game Jam is ritual.
Whether the theme is represented narratively through a story, or whether it's shown in the actual gameplay, it has to be there. So how exactly did we decide on what we were going to do for the game? Well, it's a bit unique. I showed up a bit late, so I just threw all my sleeping bags and food and stuff in the middle of our room. We called this home base. And anytime we needed to make a decision, we would just gather around home base, pass a conch around, which was actually a Half-Life flask, and that way, one person could talk at a time.
And then once you get all the stuff, you leave to go to the bus, or you catch the bus, it's like, day over, this is your score for the day.
And that way we get everyone's decisions out and democratically figure out what we wanted to do. After several different sessions of passing around this flask to figure out what we wanted to do, we would go through theme, game type, development, story, character names, all kinds of things like that. After every iteration, we would split up, go to our respective desks, maybe do a little bit of research, but take 5 minutes to think about everyone's choices, and then come back and present either new ones or reaffirm that you liked the one you previously saw. After all this iteration, we finally came to a decision. We were going to make a 2.5D 3D game a la Pokemon, where you play as a little kid who has to get ready in the morning, your morning ritual, as it were. In keeping with our personally defined goal of having it be somewhat like a child's imagination, we knew that the concept of an overactive imagination taking hold, the floor is lava effect, as it were, would be an interesting way to do different levels. Every day you go through the same house, you do the same thing. Gotta get up, get your clothes, brush your teeth, eat your cereal, feed the dog, get your backpack, and get your ass on that bus and go to school.
Well, hello there, Timmy. It's a beautiful day today. You ready for school?
But every morning, something a little different happens. Maybe you're in the Wild West one time, maybe you're an astronaut the next.
Timmy in space!
It would introduce the ability to have many different types of levels should we choose to, or the ability to cut back in the event we couldn't finish it before the end of Game Jam. Now that we had a concrete idea of exactly what we were doing, we broke off into different groups. The artists worked on early concept art, programmers did basic development, figuring out the base core of the game, and everyone else did logistical things like figuring out how many assets we'd need and what sound effects we'd want. But no matter how much thought you put into it, you need to come up with a good idea. And luckily, one of our artists, David, came up with Timmy. The original art for it was absolutely adorable, and we fell in love with the character immediately.
I like how the hair just kind of...
Gravity's really affecting it.
What?
It was like, it was so high up.
On the more functional side of things, we decided that we were going to use Unity 5 as our engine for the game, and our programmers, Andrew and Jackie, got hard to work on getting the base game going and starting work on the minigames that would be taking part in the different environments. The Game Jam started at 5 p.m. on Friday, and by the time midnight and 1 o'clock a.m. was rolling around, people were starting to crash out. The thing about Game Jam is you have 48 hours to make a game. How you spend those 48 hours is your choice. So in our case, we were a little bit crazy and decided we were going to stay up all night long. Now, I don't have a ton of footage for the middle section because really we were in quite the grind. We were getting the main part of the game working, and at that point we were all very, very busy. But I can pick up where we started doing sound design. The way that I look at sound design is that there's 3 key areas: music, Foley, and VO, or voiceover. Now, we didn't have any VO because Timmy doesn't really talk, and the music was done by our composer Michael. But sound design and Foley, well, that was the fun part.
Do you want to spit it out? Do you sure? We can arrange that. Do you want to throw out what's on your hands? Are you okay, Jackie? Do you need medical assistance? Because you're the most qualified. I don't think this will work out too well.
By the time I remembered that I was supposed to be doing this behind the scenes, it had gotten to the final crunch. which is where all hands on deck until really you can't fit all hands on deck anymore. And then in our case, it was handed off to the programmers to finish off the game.
Will it get done? Find out next time.
Once 3 o'clock rolled around on Sunday, we knew we had to stop, and that's when everyone went down to the bottom floor to look at everyone else's games. There was certainly a unique amalgamation of games. Some were like ours, some were horror games, some were puzzle games, and there were some very off-the-walls games as well.
So this is my second time doing Game Jam. It's pretty fun. We had like double the amount of people this time, so the game was like, and double the amount of knowledge, so the game was like 4 times better. I think we only need like maybe 2 more hours to get a full game, but I'm pretty happy with what we got done in the time.
Well, this being my first game jam, it was pretty awesome. I've had 4.5 hours of sleep after 48 hours, so I'm kind of dead. I think so is Nick.
Like 2. What's up here?
Yeah, this guy's had 2.
That was 2 more than I did last time.
That's true. And I'm very happy with what we came out with, but we must finish this, and it will be awesome.
Oh yeah.
Next time around, we're definitely doing it. Probably the same group of people too. Hopefully we won't put too much stress on the programmers this time around, but, you know, no promises.
Timmy forever.
Anyways, until next time, take care.
The end.
What?
It's the end.
The end.